Okay, can everybody hear me again?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Neal? You're muted. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, you ready?
Yes, Judge, I'm ready.
We're back on the record. We are live streaming on YouTube in compliance with the public courts laws. Assistant District Attorney, Ms. Zui Kotari, and Defense Attorney, Mr. Narcisse. It's my understanding that you all have pre-offered States Exhibit 1, 2, 3, and Defense Exhibits 1 through 7, respectively. Is that the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You guys have to speak one at a time, Mr. Narcisse.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so is it correct that you are stipulating to the admission of all of these exhibits?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, Defense Exhibits 1 through 7 are admitted. Mr. Narcisse, briefly state the grounds of your motion.
Your Honor, the defense has filed a motion to suppress on behalf of Mr. Edward Neal for the stop. The defense believed that the trooper, Patrick Garcia, did not have real suspicion to stop Mr. Edward Neal of committing a traffic offense on August 22nd, 2019. So our motion is to suppress the actual stop. No reason suspicion, Your Honor.
Okay, does the state want to make any opening remarks at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to instruct you to call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state calls Trooper Patrick Garcia.
Okay, Mr. Garcia is in the Zoom waiting room. I will let him in at this time. Good afternoon, Mr. Garcia. Can you hear me? Mr. Garcia, can you hear me? You'll need to unmute yourself. I cannot see you.
Unmuted. And
I think do I hear you, but I don't see you. There you are. How are you doing, Trooper?
I'm doing all right, ma'am. How about yourself?
I'm well. I'm Judge Julia Hayes. Welcome to the County Criminal Court number 2 virtual courtroom. I'm thinking that you can see all the participants that are on here. Assistant District Attorney Kotari, Assistant District Attorney Basaka, who's observing. We have the defendant, Edward Neal, and the defense attorney, Mr. Ken Narcisse. Can you see all of us? I lost your camera again. And now I can see you, and I think I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
can.
Will you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you swear the testimony you're going to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
All right. Thank you. State, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Trooper. Could you please introduce yourself and spell your name for the court reporter?
Yes, my name is Patrick Benjamin Garcia. That's spelled Patrick. Benjamin is Benjamin. Garcia, Garcia.
And Trooper, what do you do for a living?
I am employed with the Texas Department of Public Safety as a state trooper.
And is that all what you've always done?
Since 2012, yes, ma'am.
What did you do before that?
I actually was a teacher for about a year, and before that, I was in college.
And what training did you do to become a trooper?
I participated in a 24-week-long academy put on by the Texas Department of Public Safety, held in Austin, Texas.
And did you receive any training other than the academy?
Since the academy, yes, ma'am, I have continuously received training and updates and other things of that nature. Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any training specifically for undergoing investigation for intoxicated people?
Yes, I received, I was certified in the application of the standardized field sobriety tests in 2012 in the academy. Since then, I have maintained my certification by going to refresher courses. I have actually a DRE, which stands for Drug Recognition Expert. So I have attended that school. I am also A-RIDE certified.
Okay, Trooper, now that you've told us your background, can you tell us what your duty looks like on a typical shift?
Yes, ma'am. So as a state trooper, we have 3 basic duties, and that is crash investigation in rural areas of the county, traffic law enforcement, and criminal interdiction through traffic law enforcement.
And what kind of shift were you working back in August of 2019?
I was on a night shift working in Dallas, Texas.
And let me direct your attention specifically to August 22nd of 2019. What were you doing at that time?
I was on patrol in my assigned area in Dallas, Texas. Basically doing our main duties, enforcing traffic law and criminal interdiction through the enforcement of traffic law.
And on that date, did you come to have occasion to come in contact with a person you later came to know as Edward Neal? And if that person were in this virtual courtroom today, would you recognize him?
Yes, I would.
Can you ID him by a piece of clothing he's wearing?
I can't. I can only see you right now because you're speaking.
Well, why don't you play with it so you can see if you can see everybody, Trooper? We'll bear with you because I know this is kind of new for all of us. I think in the upper right corner, you see something that says gallery view.
Mhm.
In your upper right corner, I don't know if you're on a phone or a computer, but
It is a phone.
so maybe try swiping to either direction.
Okay, there it is. So I can swipe twice and see everybody. Mr. Neal is wearing looks like a brown, either button-up shirt or jacket with a black undershirt.
Your Honor, may the record please reflect that the witness has identified this defendant in an open virtual courtroom.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay, Trooper, to be clear, this is the person you arrested on the evening of August 22nd, 2019, correct?
Yes.
And what did you arrest him for?
Driving while intoxicated.
And prior to arresting him, had you had experience investigating a person for driving while intoxicated?
Yes, I had.
A few times or many?
Many.
And what does the DWI investigation typically look like?
Well, it's broken down into 3 parts, 3 phases. The first part is called vehicle in motion. And basically that's us as patrol officers and troopers observing traffic and making a determination whether a vehicle needs to be pulled over or not. The second phase is contact with the driver. And basically we are determining at that point whether we need the driver to exit the vehicle or not, to continue with the intoxication investigation. And then the third phase is our arrest decision. Basically, we make the determination whether the subject is intoxicated or not, and whether he or she will be arrested or released.
And is that the investigation steps that you took in this case?
Yes.
And how did you cross paths with this defendant that night?
So on this evening, the 22nd of August, 2019, I was patrolling along Buckner Boulevard, and I was traveling south, and I was in a left turn lane, stopped at the intersection of Buckner and it's called Buckner Marketplace. And that is basically, it's an intersection of the two parking lots for the Fiesta and Aldi to come on to Buckner. So I was stopped, ready to make a left turn, and I observed a white pickup truck traveling north on Buckner, which proceeded through the intersection while the light for it was red. While the northbound lights were red and the east and westbound lights were green. I made a U-turn to follow the vehicle. I pulled up behind the vehicle at the intersection of Buckner and Cyene Road.
Okay, Trooper, let me stop you there. So what is it that first caught your attention to the defendant?
The vehicle proceeding through the intersection while the light was red.
Your Honor, this time state would like to publish Exhibit 1. Would it be possible to share my screen so I may publish in our virtual courtroom?
I sure hope so, if the technology cooperates. Go ahead. I think I've enabled you to do that.
Can you see my screen, Your Honor?
I do see it. It's just a black screen with your name, email address, saying that you have started screen sharing. Okay, yes, I see it. I also printed off that that exhibit. So go ahead.
All right. So Trooper, can you please describe the intersection you were describing? You were pulled at the left turning lane at what intersection? Where was it on this map?
Y'all are about to get a very close-up view of my face because I'm about to pull my phone close. Please bear with me. It is not on this map.
What intersection were you at that point?
So if you look at the very bottom of the map, Cyene Road, and there at the bottom where it says Google and Easy Pond, if you were to travel just a little bit further south, there is, on the east side, it is a Fiesta Market, and on the left side, there's an Aldi grocery store. And those grocery stores have, there is a intersection with lights to exit those parking lots, and that is where I observed the vehicle.
And is that the intersection where you observed the defendant run a red light?
Yes.
And again, to clarify, what direction were you traveling when you saw the defendant at first?
I was stopped facing south in the left turn lane.
And what direction was the defendant driving in?
North.
And where you first saw this defendant in that intersection, what state is that in?
Texas.
And what county is that in?
Dallas.
Is that a public place?
Yes, it is.
And are you familiar with that area?
Not very, but a little bit.
Okay. At this time, state will publish State's Exhibit 2.
Well, can I ask a question? Piggybacking on the last couple of questions you asked. Trooper, you said you weren't really familiar with that area. What were you doing over there patrolling? Was that a normal assignment, or what were the circumstances under which you were over there?
No, it was at the tail end of last summer of 2019. DPS was running an operation in Dallas. It was kind of all over the media. So we had at any point, there was about 200 to 300 extra troopers patrolling Dallas and in various tasked with various duties. Mine happened to be patrol when I was patrolling Buckner.
And that was that like at the governor's orders after the protests were going down? Was that what that was about, or?
No, ma'am. This was way before any of the protest stuff. This was in 2019.
19, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Dallas had a very severe spike in violent crime in May, I think it went up like 200 or 300%. In a month, it doubled what a year was. And so
Okay.
I think the mayor and chief of police requested troopers to assist their officers.
Okay, I recall that. I didn't realize this was 19 rather than 20. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, may I publish State's Exhibit 2?
Yes.
Publishing starting at the 50-second mark. Your Honor, please let me know if there's anything wrong with the video.
Okay.
Trooper, was it the defendant's vehicle that we saw just passing to the left of you?
Yes, it was.
And
Okay, can you play that again, please?
yes, Your Honor.
Oh, that white truck that just went by, you're saying that was the defendant's vehicle? Or the vehicle ahead of that?
Trooper, was the vehicle that we last saw on the video the defendant's vehicle?
The white pickup, yes.
Okay.
And at this point, could you tell what color his signal was?
I'm sorry, what was that? It's breaking
From
up.
your vantage point, where we see the dash cam right now, could you tell what color his signal was?
Not necessarily his signal, but I could see that the two side lights were green and the light in front of me was red. So if east and west traffic have green lights, by default, northbound had to have a red light as well.
Okay, and then what did you say you did next?
I proceeded to make a U-turn in the intersection to go north after the white pickup.
Publishing State's Exhibit 2, starting at the 1-minute 10-second mark.
As right there, you can see the green lights.
Stopping State's Exhibit 2 at the 2-minute and 3-second mark. Going back and publishing State's Exhibit 1. Trooper, can you explain to us the red light you are pulled behind the defendant? Where is that intersection on this map?
So that is, I'll wait till the map is up.
Ms. Kotari, I don't see the map right now. I just see the video. I don't know if Mr. Narcisse can see the map. Okay, so, okay, go ahead and see if you can publish the map. I have the map myself. Okay, there it is. Mr. Narcisse, you see it? Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Trooper, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, ma'am, I was just zooming in. So the intersection where I pull up behind the defendant, is the intersection of Buckner and Sain Road.
Okay, and we see you stopping behind the defendant. What were you doing at that point?
So at that point, I was still observing the vehicle. I also ran the license plate of the vehicle on my in-car computer.
Is that normal practice for you in the course of your job?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And why do you pull the plates?
For various reasons. One, and first and foremost, is to check registration status of the vehicle. And along with that registration check, we get any alerts if the vehicle has been reported stolen, if the license plates have been reported stolen, if the registration is expired or is it good. It shows us, where the vehicle is registered to, who the owners are, what city it belongs in, what state, physical address, if there's a lien on it, if there's not a lien on it. We get a whole lot of information that comes up when we run that license plate.
And can you briefly describe to the court the process and how you go about running a plate?
Yes, ma'am. So on my in-car computer, I log into what we call mobile CAD, and it is basically an application that connects us to our communications center. So we have dispatchers working in communications, and this allows us to clear radio traffic. So you can just type in license plates, driver license numbers, people's name and date of birth, any information, go to communications center, and it's processed, run, and the return is sent back electronically. And it all happens pretty quick.
Okay, and in this case, when you ran this defendant's license plate, what did you find?
The license plate on the white pickup showed to be expired in March of 2019.
And again, this offense happened in what month?
This was in August.
All right, and then at that point, what did you decide to do?
So at that point, I made the decision to initiate a traffic stop on the vehicle for the 2 infractions I had observed.
And what were those 2 infractions?
Disregarding the red stop and go signal traffic light, and then operation of vehicle with expired license plate.
And why did you think he had run a red light?
Because I observed him do so.
And why did you think that his registration was expired?
Because I ran a check on the license plates, which is also registration, and the system, the Texas registration system, informed me that they were expired as of March of that year.
All right, and once you decided to pull over the defendant, where was it that you and the defendant pulled off on?
Initially, he came to a stop in the middle of Buckner. He pulled over to the left, he pulled over to the left, and I air horned him, and I got on my PA speaker and instructed him to pull to the right. And we proceeded into the parking lot of an Exxon.
And where approximately is that Exxon on the map on State's Exhibit 1?
So it is north of Sain Road on the east side of Buckner.
Is it also north of Sain Circle?
No, it is between Sain Road and Sain Circle. I guess the closest reference would probably be about where that first cash pawn is. That's kind of the area, more or less.
Okay.
In fact, it's almost directly across from that cemetery.
And once you were pulled up behind the defendant in that Exxon parking lot, what did you do?
I exited my vehicle and I made contact with the driver.
And at that point, what was your intent in contacting the driver?
To identify myself and to explain to him the reason for the traffic stops, and then to identify the driver and check the vehicle's condition.
Your Honor, at this time, may I publish State's Exhibit 3?
Remind me, what is that exhibit?
That is the body cam. video.
Okay. Is that relevant to this motion? If it's, if the motion is based on reasonable suspicion for the stop, is the body cam at this point relevant?
Yes, Your Honor, I am only playing the first couple of minutes when we're talking about the reasonable suspicion for the traffic stop.
Okay.
Publishing States Exhibit 3 from the 1 minute and 50-second mark.
Hello, how you doing? Evening, sir. Texas Highway Patrol. Mr. Neal, is that correct? Yes, sir. All right, reason for the stop today is you ran that red light. Also, your registration's expired. I know. I just got my car at the repair party, so I would have to paperwork on it. Gotcha. But I got insurance, I got everything. Okay, cool. You can just put my insurance up.
This is an urgent appeal from Save the
So I want to step off on you, Mr. Neal. Sure, no problem. A little bit.
Stopping States Exhibit 3 at the 2 minute and 53-second mark. Trooper, once you declared the reason for your stop to the defendant, did the defendant respond in any way?
He did not respond about the red light. He did mention about his registration. He said he knew it was expired and then proceeded to tell me why it was expired.
At any time did he deny running a red light?
No.
And then why did you ask the defendant to step out of the vehicle?
So when I walked up on the passenger side, I saw his eyes were bloodshot and there's some indicators of intoxication, and I detected a odor of alcoholic beverages. So I went around the driver's side, closer to the defendant, again, confirmed the odor of alcoholic beverages, and made the decision to go ahead and have him exit the vehicle to check his condition.
And at that point, did you proceed on a different kind of investigation?
Yes, at this point, it has now become an intoxication investigation.
Your Honor, at this time, I pass the witness.
Ross, Mr. Narcisse, you're muted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I start questioning Trooper Garcia, I would like to have the ability to share my screen also, if possible.
You would like to have what?
The ability to share my screen too. With my
Okay, I think you have the ability. I don't think I think it's for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Once I checked it, let's see if it works.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I'll try. Good afternoon, Trooper Garcia. My name is Kendrick Narcisse. I'm representing Mr. Edward Neal. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. If you don't understand any of my questions, please ask me to repeat or rephrase my questions. Can we both agree on that, Mr. Officer Trooper Garcia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Trooper Garcia, do you have your incident report in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I also had
A copy of.
Okay, thank you, Trooper Garcia. During your testimony, you stated that my client committed an offense at Marketplace in Buckner in Dallas, Texas.
Buckner, and the other street is called Buckner Marketplace.
Okay, now on your police report, which I have in front of me, and I'm just going to read it briefly, on 8/22/2019 at approximately 21:35 at South Buckner and Science Circle in the city of Dallas, County of Dallas, Texas. Our Trooper Patrick Garcia was on patrol in Dallas County, Texas. I was in my black and white marked DPS patrol vehicle, and I was wearing my tan DPS issued uniform, which identifies me as a state trooper. You also had CID Special Agent Brian Roberts, 9456, was riding, referred, and was also in his DPS issue uniform. But this is the part I want to talk about. At approximately 21:35, I observed a white Chevy pickup, band Texas registration JMH 2051, traveling north on South Buckner. The pickup disregarded a red traffic light at the intersection of South Buckner and Science Circle. So in your report, you stated my client passed the red light on South Buckner and Science Circle, but in this hearing, you just stated it was at a different location. So I want to know, can you clear up the confusion based on your report from August 25th, 2019 to 12/21/2020? We have a conflict right now.
Well, sir, you can clearly see in the video where the intersection is. I just typed it wrong in my report is all.
True, but you're non-responsive. Can you explain why you put in your report you submitted to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, which I have a copy of, you put Science Circle and South Buckner, but now under your testimony, you stated, oh, the streets are Market and South Buckner. That's to be clear, Science Circle and Buckner doesn't even have traffic intersection lights, no lights. So why did you put that in your report? That's what I like to know.
Once again, it was an error.
Okay. Okay. You also stated, I observed Mr. Neal's registration expired on March 29th. Now, you said you observed, but during your testimony, you just stated when you got behind him after observing the traffic offense, the alleged offense, that you ran it inside your computer. So it's fair to say you never observed anything. Your computer has told you it was expired, correct?
No, I observed it. The license plate is considered registration. It doesn't have to be the sticker.
So, but let me be clear. Where's the sticker located? Isn't this located on the front windshield of a vehicle?
That's what I'm saying. The license plate in Texas is considered registration, not only that front sticker.
Okay, but let's go back. I just want to be clear for this record here. You just stated with the DA that once you got behind him, you put in your computer, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you state that you inputted this information in a computer, correct?
Correct.
And then once the information, and the DA also asked you that the purpose of this here, and you stated if the vehicle is stolen, who is registered to, and once you put in a registration, it informed you that it expired on March 2019. You just stated that about 10 minutes ago, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
No, so you determined it was expired once your computer told you that, correct?
Yes, sir, that's what that system is for.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's go. So the reason you got behind Mr. Neal because you stated that you observed him run a red light, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then once you made a U-turn, you already made a determination you was gonna pull him over, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so even if even if his registration wasn't expired, you was gonna still pull him over, correct?
That's hypothetical.
But that's either yes or no, Trooper Garcia. Even if his registration was not expired, you already determined that you was gonna initiate a traffic stop, correct?
Based on the red light infraction, yes.
Yes. Okay. So let me move forward, sir. I like to pull up my exhibits.
So for clarification,
Yes,
Trooper,
Yes,
you observed the defendant run a red light at the intersection of Buckner and Buckner Marketplace. Is that right?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And I like to publish exhibits. Make sure my exhibit's right, John. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
4, Defense Exhibit 4.
Okay.
Trooper Garcia, can you see Defense Exhibit 4, sir?
I can, yes.
Okay. Does this depict the intersection of the alleged offense?
Fiesta, and if I can't, hold on.
And the map is at the bottom. Let me scroll down. The map is at the bottom also of a Google map, Sign Road, and I have the little person here of where the picture's at, Fiesta, and this is all.
Yes, that's the map. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's for clarification, Trooper Garcia. You were traveling southbound, correct?
Correct.
And so I don't know if you see my cursor. You would be right behind this line right here. Let me pull it up. You'll be right behind this line right here. Can you see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll be stopped right here, correct?
Yes.
And then the green lights are controlling your direction, which is the southbound direction, correct?
Yes, sir.
And right here, the lights that we can see the back of will be controlling the northbound traffic.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And it's clear, it's fair to say you could not see what's on being displayed on these 3 traffic control devices right here, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, I'd like to publish the Defense Exhibit 5.
Okay.
Okay, right here's another picture of the intersection. Trooper Garcia, can you see the picture?
Yes.
Okay, and this is the Fiesta, and you notice it's Buckner Road, and you stated not Buckner Marketplace, which is definitely not Sign Circle and Sign Road, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'd like to go publish on the Defense Exhibit 6.
Okay.
Trooper Garcia, I'm showing Defense Exhibit 6. Now, this was taken by the defense attorney, Kenrick Narcisse, on December 16, 2020. What does this sign say, Trooper Garcia? What's this sign at the top say?
A second. Buckner Marketplace.
Okay, so in this street right here is Buckner. Now, does this intersection, now I'm gonna be clear to you, I'm taking a picture in a northbound direction. So it's the opposite side. But does this depict the intersection that this alleged offense took place?
Yes.
Okay, what color are the lights at the top, Trooper Garcia? Can you see the picture of the lights?
Yes, sir. They're green with a protected turn arrow.
Okay, and that's to be clear, Trooper Garcia. A green light means a vehicle needs to move forward, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, based on your professional opinion, what would the traffic control devices be displaying for vehicles traveling in the opposite direction?
As far as opposite as in east and west, or opposite as in south?
Well, the northbound traffic is green. So what would the southbound traffic lights be displayed in your experience as a law enforcement officer? What will it be displayed?
Well, right now, because there's a green protected arrow, they should be red.
Okay, and that's referring back to states exhibits, I think 2, the video. Matter of fact, I'd like to publish states exhibit 2. I have the video on my computer also.
Okay.
Okay, Troop, I'm just gonna go up a little bit. Let's see if I can adjust my camera. Okay, I'm just gonna play starting at 45 seconds. What color is your lights, Trooper?
Yellow.
What color is the light now?
Yellow.
They still yellow, okay. What color is the light now?
Red.
I couldn't hear you, Trooper.
Red.
Red. So the light is red and you traveling southbound, correct? So,
yes.
Okay, so it's basically possible based on the pictures. I like to switch back to state defense exhibit 7. I like to publish defense exhibit 7. So can you see this exhibit, Trooper Garcia?
Yes, sir.
So And the lights are still green, correct?
Yes, sir.
What are you noticing with these vehicles traveling in a northbound lane? What are they doing? What does it appear they doing?
I don't know. What are you asking?
Okay, let me say it again. The vehicles traveling in a northbound lane, the same direction to Mr. Neal. What do they appear to be doing right now?
They're, I don't know, driving
Driving through the green light, correct?
like they're supposed to be. Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is this vehicle doing on the other side?
Stopped.
Okay, just like your vehicle was stopped on the video.
Yes, sir. I think I know where you're going. The difference is I could see east and west green lights. So unless northbound, eastbound, and westbound all had green lights, which would be a bad day for traffic at that intersection, it's not the scenario I think you're trying to point to.
Okay, Trooper, thank you. You stated earlier that you're not familiar with this location, correct?
Correct. I mean, I worked there for a couple of weeks.
So you're not familiar with the location. What area are you usually assigned to prior? What area are you usually assigned to?
I patrol predominantly Wise County.
Okay.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Wise County.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I don't have any further questions. I'd like to pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Trooper, you stated that you knew that it was not the scenario that defense was painting. Can you please repeat for the court why that is?
Yes, ma'am. Once again, I could see the eastbound traffic control lights and the westbound traffic control lights.
And
they
that's
were
something.
green.
Is that something we could view on the dash cam that we viewed previously?
Yes. So when I make my U-turn, my light is actually still red. So I myself, being able to be exempt from the laws and the performance of my duty, disregarded a red light to follow the defendant's vehicle. And as I'm making the left turn with my light still being red, you can see the green light for east.
Trooper, can you hear us? It sounds like you froze. Trooper Garcia, can you hear me? Looks like we lost him temporarily. Zoe, do you have his contact information?
Yes, I have just contacted him to know that we haven't seen him. He did let me know that there's a possibility he might have some Wi-Fi issues. So oh, there he is.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, I believe you left off. Letty, can you read back the last thing Trooper said?
Answer, yes. So when I make my U-turn, my light is usually still red. So I myself, being able to be exempt from the laws and performance of my duty, disregarded a red light to follow the defendant's vehicle. And as I'm making the left turn with my light still being red, you can see the green light for eastbound.
Go ahead, Trooper, if you can continue from there.
You can see the light controlling eastbound traffic at the intersection for Buckner Marketplace.
At this point, I would like to republish a quick part of the dash cam.
Okay.
Beginning States Exhibit 2 at the 1 minute and 5 second mark.
Right now, I still see the picture. I think it's Mr. Narcisse's picture. Mr. Narcisse, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm right here, Yon. Let me see. I'm gonna hit the stop sharing screen, see if that may be the issue.
Okay. All right, there it is. Thank you.
All right. Publishing States Exhibit 2 from the 1 minute and 9 second mark. Going back a little bit to the 1 minute mark. Trooper, is this what you're talking about? We can see that the lights on the other direction are green at that point.
Yes.
Beginning to publish at the 1 minute and 14 second mark. Trooper, at this point, why had you not started your lights and sirens?
Because we're in, so because of the intersection we are now at, I did not want to cause a traffic hazard by activating lights and sirens. People will freak out when they hear that, and you can't predict what driving behavior would be displayed if I were to do that. So it was safer just to wait until the light turned green and we all proceed through that intersection.
And did you proceed to start your lights and sirens and initiate your announcement system before or after you pulled the defendant's plates?
After.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any recross?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly. Trooper Garcia, referring back to States Exhibit 2 with the green light, matter of fact, I like to republish that, Your Honor.
Okay.
See if I can share my screen. So Trooper Garcia, were you able to see that, the video again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I don't know if you saw the time, but the time from when Mr. Neal passed through the intersection and when you actually U-turned to see the light, approximately 6 to 7 seconds expired. Were you able to count that?
I did not count it, no, sir.
So it's possible that by what you call an account prior to you turning on the account, making a U-turn, that the light wasn't green.
Once again, I didn't count it, so I don't even know that it was 6 seconds.
Okay, let's do it again then. Look at the timer, sir, if you can see it. About 6 seconds, I can be off by 1, but let's. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So that's Mr. Neal right there. That's about 106. So let's see when you turn around. So it was 8 seconds till you turned around. So That's a big gap of time from when Mr. Neal went through the light to you actually turn around displaying his green light, correct? 8 seconds?
It was 8 seconds.
Okay. And also you stated,
But to answer your question, that doesn't mean that the light turned green. I observed the light green when he ran through.
okay. And that's my next question. You stated, and I'm going back to your police report again. And you have your couple of pages on your police report. But do you think it's important to put in a police report that I observed the driver, Mr. Edward Neal, go through a green light? Would you stand on the testimony? Do you think that's important to put in a police report that you observed? You didn't see his light, but you saw the east-west light. That is not in your police report. And why is that, sir?
I didn't see him proceed through a green light. He proceeded through a red light. The opposite lights were green.
Let me back up. Do you think it's important to put the information you saying today in court in your police report? And my question is, why is this information, first of all, you have the wrong street intersection, but why is this information not in your police report that I observed Mr. Neal go through a red light based on me observing green lights east and west? So why is this information absent from your police report? That's the only thing I'm trying to find out.
It's absent from the actual type document, but you all have the videos. There's no need for me to transcribe what is occurring second by second on the video. That's why we wear videos.
Okay.
You can see exactly what I'm seeing for the most part, including the red light and the green light.
Yes, and that's to be clear.
No, I don't transcribe the videos, play by play on the report. No, sir.
Well, to be
That's what
clear,
this is for today. You can ask me and I can answer.
okay, to be clear, Trooper Garcia, I didn't want you to transcribe the video. I'm asking, why did you put down what you observed, what you're saying today? That's all I'm asking. And that is not in your police report. No further questions, Your Honor. Pass the witness.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Trooper Garcia, you are free to leave the meeting if you like. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all very much.
All right. State, call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, state has no further witnesses. The state rests.
What says the defense?
Your Honor, the defense like to call Mr. Edward Neal.
Okay, Mr. Neal, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're going to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And Mr. Neal, did you agree that we conduct your motion to suppress over Zoom video conference?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down.
Good afternoon, Mr. Neal. I just have probably a few questions to ask, okay? You don't understand any of my questions, asking me to repeat or rephrase the questions, okay, Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Neal, you heard the testimony of Trooper Garcia regarding the red light. I wasn't in the car that day, and I'm not Trooper Garcia. What color was the light at the time of this alleged offense Trooper Garcia statement that took place? What did you observe?
A green hour and green lights.
Okay, no further questions, John.
Any cross?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Mr. Neal, was your registration expired at that time?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, sir. All right, defense, do you have any other witnesses?
Defense rests. No, Your Honor, defense rests.
Okay. Both sides close.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will hear arguments. Defense, it's your motion. You can go first.
Thank you, Your Honor. Discretionary traffic stops are a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. Law enforcement officers are not allowed to stop individuals based on assumption or hunches. In this case, reasonable suspicion did not exist in Mr. Neal's case. First of all, you had Trooper Garcia, who admitted he's not familiar with the location that he regularly patrols claimed that he saw Mr. Neal run a red light. He also, on his police report, he failed to include that he ran a red light based on me seeing a green light on each side. The videos that we saw today in court was after 8 seconds after Mr. Neal passed through the intersection, which is a long time for a light to change cycles, Your Honor. He also put the wrong intersection, you know, which I feel is important. Sign Road and Sign Circle, Mr. Neal committed the offense, which is not true because Sign Road and Sign Circle does not have any traffic lights, but on testimony, he corrected it and said it was in Marketplace and Buckner Avenue. For us the registration, the initial stop, and counsel has sent me case law about checking registrations, but the initial stop was based on the alleged offense of running a red light. He already determined he was going to stop Mr. Neal of for going through a red light based on his alleged observations. And in the process, he was running a license plates in his computer before he initiated the traffic stop, and it came back as expired registration. But for not him being stopped for a red light, he would have never ran his registration. This is no different than a person getting a speeding ticket, and when the police asks for your license and registration, and when the police see your license, you fail to change your address in 30 days or whatnot, you get a ticket for that. But the only reason the police knew your license had a bad address because they stopped you for the speeding ticket. So this is the only reason they determined his registration was expired, based on him being stopped for allegedly running a red light stuff. So, and there's none of this is in the report about the green lights on the right and left side. Mr. Neal testified that the lights was green. He said I had a green arrow and 2 green lights. Exhibit 6 and 7 shows if you have a green light and a green arrow, the other side is going to stop. That's what happened in Mr. Neal's case, in this particular case here. So in this case, the officer Garcia, Trooper Garcia did not have reasonable suspicion to stop Mr. Neal, and we ask that you grant our motion to suppress the stop, Your Honor.
State.
Your Honor, the state believes that the testimony and evidence has shown that Trooper Garcia did have reasonable suspicion to stop the defendant because he has the right to make a traffic stop whenever he has reasonable suspicion that a traffic violation has occurred. In this case, he stated clearly to us and to the defendant that he stopped the defendant for a violation of section 544.007 traffic control signals in general, as well as section 502.407 operational vehicle with expired license plate. The standard is in State v. Cortez, which states that reasonable suspicion exists if the officer has specific articulable facts that when combined with rational inferences from these facts will lead him to reasonably suspect that a particular person has engaged or is soon to be engaged in criminal activity. In this case, it is a traffic offense of running a red light. Trooper Garcia was able to articulate to this court specific facts that made him believe, as a reasonable person as well as an officer with experience, that the defendant had run a red light. And even if Your Honor believes that that is not true, he did run the license plate before he stopped this defendant. And that is another grounds for a traffic violation for which he could have stopped the defendant in order for investigation of both of these offenses. In Kansas v. Glover, the Supreme Court stated that even in that case, when an officer lacked the information that the owner was driving the vehicle, an investigative traffic stop made after running a vehicle's license plate and learning the license plate has been revoked is reasonable under the Fourth Amendment. And therefore, the state believes that there is reasonable suspicion for the stop in investigating these 2 traffic violations, and we would request that you deny defense's motion.
Okay. The court's Findings of fact and conclusions of law are as follows. 2135, tell me in regular time what that is, one of you. What time of day is that? I'm not in the military, so I don't know military time. Somebody give me an
9:35,
idea.
Judge.
What'd you say?
9:35 p.m.
9:35 p.m. My court reporter's former Navy veteran, understands military time. Thank you. All right, so the court finds that at 9:35 p.m. on August 22nd, 2019, State Trooper Patrick Garcia was patrolling in the area of Buckner Boulevard, facing south, traveling on Buckner Boulevard, stopped in the left turn lane at Buckner and Buckner Marketplace intersection. That Trooper Garcia observed a white pickup truck appear to travel through the intersection through a red light going north, and the officer was stopped facing south. Credible testimony was given that the officer did observe, and the court observed on video, the officer's vehicle appeared to stop traveling northbound at the intersection before the light turned red, even before it turned yellow. And that credible testimony was given that Trooper Garcia observed the defendant's white pickup truck traveling northbound, what appeared to be through that red light. Now, the court heard testimony that Trooper Garcia observed the green lights in the intersection for the traffic traveling east and westbound at the same time that he observed his light turn red, after which time the defendant's vehicle traveled through that red light. Now, it's important to remember that the officer does not have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a traffic violation was committed. He has to have reasonable suspicion, also known as specific and articulable facts. Therefrom, rational inferences can be drawn that criminal activity is afoot or has already occurred. In this situation, running a red light is the criminal activity in question. Based upon the officer's specific and articulable facts that he observed his light turn red, that he observed the green lights in the perpendicular traffic at that intersection, that the court observed the green lights of the perpendicular traffic in that intersection, the officer reasonably inferred that the defendant ran a red light. And that inference, along with the facts that led to that inference, amount to reasonable suspicion that the defendant ran a red light. Now, prior to initiating a stop or even turning on his traffic patrol lights, if you will, the sirens and lights, Officer Garcia testified that he ran the defendant's license plate and discovered yet another traffic violation, which also gave reasonable suspicion to pull the defendant over, or reasonable suspicion to believe, more specifically, that the defendant was driving with an expired license plate, i.e., criminal activity, which is a Class C misdemeanor, traffic ticket, was afoot. So the court finds that Trooper Garcia had reasonable suspicion to pull the defendant over for running a red light and for having expired registration. Therefore, the defendant's motion to suppress is denied. Off the record.
Okay.
All right. Do you have an order, Mr. Narcisse? Did you submit an order?
Yes, Your Honor. I emailed yesterday or Saturday. I emailed it to you.
You did email it yesterday?
Either yesterday or Saturday. But it was this.
I got your motion. I don't see an order attached to it, but
it could be somewhere around here. You might want to forward me one just real quick so I can sign it, if you don't mind. Julia.Hayes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you all. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Have a
Thank you.
safe rest of the 2020 year.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye-bye.
You know, Judge.
All right. Bye-bye.